The crystalline towers of the Galactic Commerce District pierced through the purple haze of Zentara Prime's atmosphere, each structure a monument to the wealth and power of the galaxy's elite merchant princes. In the highest spire, Ambassador Corvathal spread his iridescent wings, once a symbol of pride. Among his people, now drooping with the weight of impending ruin, the dragon diplomat's scales had dulled over the past standard year, losing their lustrous emerald sheen. His talons, sharp enough to cut through reinforced titanium, now trembled as they held the datapad containing his financial death sentence, bankruptcy. The word tasted like ash in his mouth. For a draconid of the 7th house, it meant more than mere poverty. It meant exile, dishonor, and the end of his bloodline's 10,000-year legacy. Ambassador, a soft voice, interrupted his spiral of despair. Your afternoon tea. Julie entered the office with practiced grace, balancing a tray with the herbal blend Corvath had grown fond of during his posting on this commerce world. The human servant had been assigned to him when he'd first arrived, part of the diplomatic protocol. Humans, with their short lifespans and unremarkable biology, were considered ideal for service positions throughout the galaxy. Hardworking, and most importantly, cheap. Corvath barely acknowledged her presence, his three-chambered heart heavy with dread. In 2 hours, Magistrate Thelson of the Commerce Guild would arrive. The signatures would be affixed, the Draconid embassy would be liquidated, its assets seized to pay debts that had mysteriously accumulated over the past months. Debts that Corvath could not explain, appearing in accounts he did not recognize, for transactions he had never authorized. Ambassador? Julie's voice carried a note of concern. Are you well? As well as one can be before execution, Corvath rumbled, smoke wisping from his nostrils. Though I suppose your kind would not understand. Humans lack the concept of honor debt, do they not? Julie set down the tray carefully. We have honor, Ambassador. We simply express it differently. She paused, her brown eyes fixed on the date. May I ask what troubles you so deeply? Corvath laughed, a sound like grinding stones. Why not? Soon, all the galaxy will know of my disgrace. He gestured to the scattered documents across his obsidian desk. Bankruptcy. Debts totaling 47 million galactic credits. Assets insufficient to cover even a quarter of what is owed. My house will be stripped of its diplomatic standing. I will return to the Draconid homeworld in chains. May I see the documents? The question surprised him. In all the months Julie had served him, she had never shown interest in his work. She was simply there bringing tea, maintaining his quarters, handling the mundane details of daily life that were beneath a diplomat's attention. You can read Galactic Standard Trade Script? Corvath asked, skeptical. I can read 7 languages, Ambassador. Humans are good at languages. Something in her tone made him pause. With a weary sigh, he pushed the datapad toward her. What did it matter now? Let the human satisfy her curiosity. In 2 hours, none of it would matter. Julie's fingers moved swiftly across the datapad, scrolling through pages of dense financial data, her brow furrowed in concentration, and Corvath noticed, perhaps for the first time, the intelligence that sparked behind those unremarkable human eyes. Minutes passed. Corvath sipped his tea, surprised to find it was the perfect temperature, steeped exactly to his preference. Had it always been so perfect? Had he ever noticed? Ambassador, Julie's voice cut through the silence with unexpected sharpness. These numbers are wrong. Corvath's head snapped up. What, the compound interest calculations? They're using Terran financial formulas, specifically Earth's ancient predatory lending structures. But your contracts are governed by galactic commerce law, which explicitly forbids such practices. Her fingers flew across the datapad. Look here, the base debt was only 4 million credits, but they've applied a monthly compounding rate of 3.7%, calculated daily, with penalty clauses that multiply exponentially. The dragon diplomat rose from his seat, his massive form suddenly alert. That cannot be correct. Magistrate Thelson assured me. Magistrate Thelson is defrauding you, Julie interrupted, her voice steady despite contradicting a being who could incinerate her with a breath. This is a scheme we humans call predatory lending. It was outlawed on Earth in the 22nd century, but the mathematical structures persist in certain less ethical financial institutions. She pulled up another screen. More than that, Ambassador, look at these transaction codes. They're routed through shell corporations registered in the Vortex Nebula, known haven for financial criminals. These aren't legitimate debts. They're fabricated. Corvath leaned over her shoulder, his massive head beside her comparatively tiny human one. The numbers began to make a terrible sense. He had been so overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of the debt that he hadn't examined the underlying structure. In Draconid culture, One did not question the word of a magistrate. Honor demanded acceptance of one's obligations, but humans, it seemed, had no such compunctions about questioning authority. How do you know this? Korvath demanded. Julie's expression hardened. Because Earth went through something called the Great Financial Collapse. My great-grandmother lost everything to schemes exactly like this. Humans learned to recognize predatory mathematics. We're not as physically impressive as other species, Ambassador. We survive by becoming very, very good at spotting when someone is trying to cheat us. She pulled up more files, cross-referencing dates and transaction codes with a speed that left Korvath's head spinning. Look, every debt spike correlates with a diplomatic trip you took. Someone with access to your financial systems has been fabricating transactions while you were away, and I think I know who. Your assistant, Jerry, Julie said quietly. He's the only other person with access codes to your secure accounts. The name hit Korvath like a physical blow. Jerry, another human, assigned to handle administrative duties. Young, eager, always ready with a smile and a solution. Korvath had trusted him implicitly. But why would he? The magistrate's office, Julie continued, pulling up another document. Jerry's cousin works there. I saw them together at the market last week. They didn't see me. Humans are good at being invisible, Ambassador. We've had to be. The implications crashed over Korvath like a tidal wave. A conspiracy. A carefully orchestrated fraud designed to strip him of everything. And he, with all his ancient honor and pride, had been blind to it. The magistrate arrives in 90 minutes, Korvath said, his voice low and dangerous. What do we do? Julie smiled, a very human expression, showing teeth in what other species might interpret as threat. We humans have a saying, Ambassador, the best revenge is not getting mad, but getting even. Do you trust me? Korvath looked at the small human woman who had served him tea and cleaned his quarters for months. The one he had barely noticed had considered beneath his attention. The one who had just saved his life. Yes, he said simply. I trust you. 90 minutes later, Magistrate Thelsen arrived with an entourage of legal assistants and enforcement officers, prepared to witness the final humiliation of a Draconid noble. Instead, he found Ambassador Korvathor flanked by Julie and a team of Galactic Commerce Authority investigators. The fraud unraveled quickly once proper scrutiny was applied. Jerry was arrested attempting to flee the station. The magistrate's offices were raided. The shell corporations were exposed. By evening, it was Thelsen signing bankruptcy papers. Not Korvath. In the quiet aftermath, Korvath found Julie in his office, preparing tea, as always. Why? He asked simply. You owed me nothing. You could have let me fall. Julie set down the teapot and met his eyes. On Earth, we have another saying. No one is free until we are all free. You treated me with respect, Ambassador, even when you didn't notice me. You never raised your voice, never demanded what I couldn't give. In a galaxy where humans are considered second class, that meant something. She smiled. Besides, humans are good at one more thing. We remember who stood by us when it mattered. You stood against the Vorlon Accords last year, the ones that would have extended human indenture contracts from 10 years to 20. You thought no one noticed, but we did. Korvath felt something shift in his chest, a warmth that had nothing to do with his fireside. I would like to offer you a new position, he said. Not as a servant, as my financial advisor. If you'll have it, I'd be honored, Ambassador, Julie replied, though I should mention my salary requirements are somewhat higher than what you've been paying. The dragon diplomat laughed, genuine and full. Humans, he said with newfound respect. Always negotiating, always surviving. Julie corrected gently. It's what we do best.